it's time, well, it was time for Quilters Vibe about 2 weeks ago, but I've been saving the state of Victoria where I live from the Rona, one mask at a time, which is why this is late. But timing is not that bad because I'll combine it with my with challenge, I think it's 206 over on the Paper Girls challenge blog, and the theme is Emboss Like a Boss. So I can totally combine that with this. And the quilty prompt that Sarah has chosen is one of these bookshelf quilts, which I have been wanting to make for ages. And I love that they include little tiny bits and pieces. There's a little dude here and a sewing machine and another little dude. Often they have cats peeking around, so this is on my to make list, and I'm going to take the prompt kind of literally today. I'm going to use this as my other sort of inspiration jumping off point and sort of scrap lift this, but it's probably a good exercise in that you don't have to have the same supplies or the same theme or anything to do a sketch or a scrap, because none of the supplies are the same. The theme is completely different, but it's sort of the basic photo cut file and embelly placement that I want it for. I've already backed the books on the cut file and then backed the whole thing with a wood grain background and then some foam on the back. Here's my little photo, and the journaling. The reason why I selected this photo of a Jane Austen action figure is that the journaling is going to be a discussion that I had with the Tall Crafty Dude about this action figure, and so, you know, the books kind of go along with that, and I'm going to use my own bookshelves as inspiration and put little bits and pieces that are relevant to me sort of in between the books. And part of the title, one of the words I think I will emboss. Before I even get to the embossing or any of those other bits, what I do want to do is mark out the placement roughly where this is going to sit. I need to make room for the title, which won't go over the top of the cut file like this one, because the title just will get lost. So that means that I'm going to have a lot less space for journaling because it's going to be a narrower gap and the journaling itself is going to be longer. But I did want to incorporate some stitching, and that kind of has a bit of a Regency Jane-esque vibe to it. So I will use this stitching template by Amy Tangerine, and the word love is going to be part of the title, so I need to make sure that I can fit that in. So once I figure out roughly, or more than a little bit roughly, okay, I will make the decision to sit that word on that line. I'm going to grab a pencil and just mark out the corners. I'll mark out that bit because that's where the thing's going to be. And over here especially, because I want to do another stitched element sort of on this part of the page to kind of, so this isn't the only one because otherwise that might look a bit strange. And what better one than this feather, which is sort of a quill, and that's going to come up in the journaling. So even if it's going to be partially covered, I'm okay with that. You still get the idea what that is, and I think that'll look quite nice partially covered anyway. But whether I want it like this or sort of like that, sitting on top of the shelf, I don't know. Yeah, maybe like that. I have my piercing mat. Holes, and I'm going to come in with this variegated floss. It sort of goes from aqua to the royal blue and pink that are in the photo, and hopefully, well, being the indecisive person that I am, a variegated floss was probably the best option. So I'll start down here. finished stitching, but I thought I'd get on with the embossing, the heat embossing, before I forget. I tried to put on an extra light to see if it's any better. I don't know that it is, but I'll just keep plodding on. Now I've picked a set of thickers that is a scripty font, like what I want, but it's in a colour that I don't love. So if there's going to be a set of thickers that would work well with embossing, it'll be these sorts of ones. And I've also pulled out 2 wooden hearts, one for each of the embellishment groups, and I'll also emboss those because you can emboss just about anything. I'm not sure how the thickers that are on foam would take to it, because I know now American Crafts gets around the whole chipboard not sticking by putting them on a thin layer of cardstock or chipboard and then on foam. So haven't tried that, probably won't. So already preheated the heat gun. Now, the only thing is that these glitters, I don't think they're super chunky, these particular ones, but they will probably need quite a heavy layer of this stuff. Now, if that first layer doesn't work the way I'm hoping it will, I'll use one of those embossing pens that look kind of like a lip gloss. Oh, that's pretty already. So I'm putting it on thick, pressing it in, and then try and get it back. Now I love the look of heat embossing. I hate the process because I always make a mess. Alright, here goes. Ooh, that's pretty. There are little gaps, and I had to keep chasing that A around the page. It's not a bad thing actually that they were that lightish green colour, because it doesn't show up super much, but I think because we want them to be a little bit vintagey, that's going to be fine. Now for the Franken powder. I want these to be that hot pink. So there's this pale pink, and then there's a red, and then there's this raspberry coolie colour. So the last time I had extra Franken powder in a bowl like this, it ended up on the floor because I forgot that it was in there, and I put die cuts on the top, and then yeah, but we won't talk about that. I think what I'll do is put some glue dots on the back of the cut file in the middle so that I can still tuck things under if I need to, and then that way I'll know exactly how much room I'm left with. Okay, glue dot time. There are some labels and other bits and pieces here and there, so I might start by getting those done. Then the title can overlap on top if needs be. is for now. I think this one still wants something else, because if I put the of Jane in here, it's not, yeah. Anyway, not going to worry about that just yet. I will move on to the journaling. Journaling down. I'll have a play around and see how it's going to sit. It's going to have to sit here. I'll worry about what the of is going, how I'm going to do that. It can't be big. That means that I will want to put something there, because that gap is not satisfactory. Teeny tiny little pop dots, if they fit, and put this word up on them. I think this font should be just wide enough to be able to accommodate them. I think I can do of with these, they're nice and tiny. Now some more letters. I'm just going to put a glue dot straight on the back. A teeny tiny little space here. That wasn't very smart, huh? I wonder if I can lift these up. That would be awesome. I can cover that up with the. I really should be using UnDu. I think I found the one. It matches with all these, and hopefully these little tiles are going to be big enough to hide the boo-boo. Right. There was one other thing I thought about doing, and considering I have this extra space, I might actually do it, and that is to punch and dry emboss some shapes, maybe butterflies. We've got some of this leftover paper. I'll see how big this guy turns out. Well, I kind of do it like that and it can go off the page. Yeah, that's fine, that'll do it. Just one in each grouping. That little disaster, I have made a few small changes. I moved this down just a touch. I think you can still read this even though it's a little bit obscured, but just this small amount of extra breathing room under the Jane, I think it needed it. I don't mind the yellow. I thought I would, but it's sort of 1, 2, 3 and I think it works. Not ideal, but you know, damage control. Oh, and I lost one of my embossed hearts. I looked everywhere for it. I was sad, so I had to emboss another one. I pulled out 2 teeny tiny little buttons, and I'll put one here and one here. Or was it the other way around? I don't know. Maybe I was going to put one there. So it'll be like 1, 2, 3. I know I was going to put one here, but I don't remember which one I was going to put where. I need to figure that out. I think it was here. Buttons are stitched down. Now, I took a dive in the scrapbooks and I've got this hot pink and this sort of medium blue colour, which I think would make decent mats for this photo. So I'm just going to rough cut those with the scissors. I wasn't trying to keep it particularly straight, so there are small angles there. Now, let's get it under here. Let's see. I don't mind if that corner is tucked under. I think that's probably how I want it. So it looks like she's sort of sitting on the shelf, but a bit wobbly. The very last thing is that I want to add little touches on this bookshelf in addition to the books. So I've got a whole bunch of different stickers and die cuts and all kinds of stuff. I'm going to just get started. This is a sticker and I think it definitely needs some squares. Can sit here. There we go. That's a bit better. There's a blue Polaroid and I've got one of those 1990s blue Polaroids. It's not the super duper old school one like this, but it's close. Where can this guy go? There we go. Coffee cup. I think that's going to need a pop dot as well. There we go. Oh, and I think I wanted a teacup to balance out the coffee cup. Let's put it on top of some books. Glasses. They're not in proportion, but that's okay. Nail polish, of course. I'm going to put an itty bitty pop dot behind it. Mobile phone. Will probably be close to my glasses. Let's put it here. That might draw some attention to the glasses. Oh, and teeny tiny Instax puffy. Put it here. I think it needs some more crafty supplies. Washi tape, that's good. Perhaps here. Okay. Oh well. Now this I'm definitely going to put there, but it needs the pop dots all the same. Right. Oh, I wanted some kind of flower pot, didn't I? Ooh, I want a cat. This is a life-sized cat, and the cats always are in my space. Unfortunately, hang on, I'm going to have to stick this on cardstock and cut around it because it's on clear. Where can I put cat? Alright, cat can go here. It's not exactly the most natural position or size, but whatever. Now if I move this over just a whisker, there we go. One very last touch, teeny tiny little pearls. Pearls and Jane do seem to work quite well together. So stills on my blog if you want to read the journaling and all the rest of that. Do go and visit the Paper Girls challenge to see what the other girls have made on the design team and enter an embossing challenge of your own. So thanks very much for watching, and I do hope you'll also head on over to Sara, Christy and Daisie's channel to see what their Quilters vibes for this bookcase inspiration quilt looks like. And yeah, hope to see you again soon. Bye!